lighting. One of the things that you may need to write about in your responses for your examination is lighting. So let's talk about a couple of the technical frames for lights. Well, the lights themselves are not called lights, they're called lamps. If they have a colour, then you put a piece of coloured gel in front of them, G-E-L, and that gives you the colour. Now what you're generally looking for is oranges and yellows, or a straw, what's called a straw colour, which gives some sort of warmth to the face of the actors. And what that does is it makes them sort of a bit warm, it makes them rounded, it makes them three-dimensional. Whereas if you have just white light, so that's no colour in front of the light that is being shone onto the performers, then they become rather two-dimensional and very pale indeed. In addition to that, if you want to create a shape of some kind, to suggest something, so for example if it was a church scene, you wanted to have a church-shaped window just done with lighting against a set, a flat, that is called a gobo, G-O-B-O, a gobo. So those are some of the lighting effects that you can actually have. If you have all the lighting on to create a really bright set, that is called full cover, so a full lighting cover. If you want it to be reasonably bright but nowhere near as bright as that, you can have something which is called half cover, so that's half the lighting is used. In addition, you can have fixed spots, and sometimes people write about spotlights. There are two different types of spots. There's a follow spot where somebody holds the spotlight and moves it and focuses on a person. And then there is a fixed spot which is on the ceiling and a person walks into a circle of light. That is a fixed spot. Now a fixed spot can have a hard edge, so you see that hard circle on the floor, or it can have a soft edge, so you don't actually see a circle, you just see a pool of light. That is called diffuse, a diffuse edge or a soft edge. In addition, when it comes to the lighting board, you have a variety of things that you can actually use. So a blackout, I think everybody understands, you press a button and it blacks out. If you want to do the opposite, so there is no lighting and then the lights come up very quickly, that is called a snap up, or a snap up from blackout. What else can you have? You can have what is called a slow fade or a fast fade, so you time the seconds that your lights fade up and down. And you can also have a crossfade. So for example, if you wanted to move from nighttime into daytime, you had a fairly low level light for nighttime, and then you have a very bright thing, a very bright lighting state, so full cover for daytime. You pull the faders down. As the faders come down, at a certain point the fader, one fader is completely not used, one fader is being used to the maximum. When they meet in the middle, you get what is called a crossfade, which means that one lighting state fades down as the other lighting state is fading up. And so you fade one out completely and you fade one up totally. So that is your lighting state for fade out. So fade up, fade down, crossfade. A crossfade with music is also very common. So for example, at the beginning of a performance, you're in darkness, so there's no lighting, you have music, and you actually crossfade the music and the lighting. So you bring the volume down as the lighting comes slowly up. So snap up, fade up, blackout, fade down, crossfade. Those are just some of the basic terms for lighting that you might need to use. You might need to understand how they might be used. And also do bear in mind that if, for example, if you wanted to create a nighttime scene, you might want to have some blue coloured gels to create a slightly colder atmosphere. And also, although there's still light, that light has got a slightly bluish tinge to it, which maybe makes it look to be a different time. If you're using red gels or orange gels or straw coloured gels, that's creating more of a sense of warmth on the faces of the actors and may signify other things. It may be symbolic in your piece of work.